This week's concert by the Philadelphia Orchestra, Eugene Ormandy, music director and permanent conductor, will consist of 4 works for orchestra. We have no featured soloist this week. Mr. Ormandy will be on the podium and will open the program with the Aria di Corte from the 3rd suite of old dances and airs for the lute, arranged by Ottorino Respighi. Mr. Ormandy will then conduct the Symphony No. 5 in E-flat, Opus 82, by Jan Sibelius. Following a short intermission, we will hear the first performance at these concerts of Vincent Persichetti 5th Serenade for orchestra, and the program will conclude with Bela Bartok's Concerto for Orchestra. The stately antique music for the lute fascinated Ottorino Respighi, whose fondness for placing ancient musical materials in a modern context has been often demonstrated. We need only mention the suite Gli Uccelli, the birds. In the fullness of time, he composed 3 sets of old dances and airs, consisting of lute music freely transcribed for modern orchestra. Some of the composers who find their way into these suites include so famous a man as Vincenzo Galilei, the father of the famous astronomer. The Aria di Corte, or court airs, makes up the 2nd of 4 movements in the 3rd suite and is scored for strings alone. The applause you hear welcomes our conductor, our music director, Eugene Ormandy, to the stage of the Academy of Music. And in just a moment, we will hear the strings of the Philadelphia Orchestra in the Aria di Corte from Old Dances and Airs for the Lute, the 3rd suite, by Ottorino Respighi. Eugene Ormandy and the Philadelphia Orchestra have opened this week's concert by the Philadelphia Orchestra with the court airs from the third suite of old dances and airs for the lute, arranged by Ottorino Respighi. Our program continues with a performance of Jan Sibelius's Symphony No. 5 in E-flat major, Opus 82. This work was completed in 1915 and was first performed in December of that year by the Helsinki Symphony Orchestra under the direction of Sibelius's close friend Robert Kajanus. The version that was heard at this time was never published. Instead, Sibelius set about revising the score. The revision was played a year later, in 1916, and it was then heard in a third and final form in November of 1919. These revisions were drastic. In fact, a letter from Sibelius speaks of, and I quote, "the Fifth Symphony in a new form, practically composed anew." This work is in 3 movements, although the first movement can be conveniently divided into a slow and quick movement, marked tempo molto moderato and then allegro moderato. The second movement, a quasi-pastorale, is marked andante mozo. The finale, and perhaps the best known movement of this symphony, is marked allegro molto. Eugene Ormandy now conducts the Philadelphia Orchestra in the Symphony No. 5 in E-flat major, Opus 82, by Jan Sibelius. have just heard the Philadelphia Orchestra under Eugene Ormandy's direction in a performance of the Symphony No. 5 in E-flat major, Opus 82, by Jan Sibelius. The performance of this work brings the first portion of our program to a close. Following a brief intermission, we will hear the first performance at these concerts of Vincent Persichetti Serenade No. 5, and the program will conclude with the Concerto for Orchestra by Bela Bartok. Sounding Board this week brings as our special guest Vincent Persichetti, good friend of the Philadelphia Orchestra and one of Philadelphia's leading composers. Welcome to Sounding Board, Vincent.
Hello, Bill. Nice to be here.
I note that the work, which we are about to hear on the second half of this week's concert, is listed as the Serenade No. 5 for orchestra. You then obviously have written 4 previous serenades. Have you written any since?
I have written 12 serenades. As a matter of fact, I'm working on my 13th now.
13 serenades.
Yes.
This must then be a form that appeals particularly to you.
Very much so. It gives me an opportunity to write grazioso material in short pieces for different combinations of instruments. To me, the serenade is night music, love music, grazioso kind of approach.
And each
to
movement is
expression.
relatively short,
Yes, relatively short.
undeveloped.
Yes.
How many of these have been composed for orchestra?
Number 5 is the only one for orchestra. They're for different mediums. Number 1 is 10 wind instruments, as a matter of fact.
I see.
There are some for solo piano. There's one for band. There's one for harp and flute.
These are a little like the Bacchianus Brasileiras
In a
of
sense,
Villanobus.
yes.
In other words, now let me ask you this. What is your unifying principle for the movements?
I will have a melodic germ or kernel,
Mm-hmm.
and I will not develop this extensively within any one piece. There'll be just a set variant of that material used for a piece. But this kernel will be used as part of material for other movements. And I suppose that's the element, the
unifying
ingredient
element.
that unifies.
Well, now, when was this work composed, Vincent?
This was done in 1950, and it was written for the Louisville Orchestra.
Oh, for their series of
Well,
commissions?
Not it's a series of commissions, but not the big commissions from the Ford.
I see.
That I was commissioned there to do my string symphony, Symphony No. 5. But this was done in the days when the Louisville Orchestra had only 5 concerts a year, and they never gave a concert without commissioning a new work, even if they had to not have a big soloist that concert.
Well, bless their hearts
So
for that. That's a wonderful aspect of American music,
Yes.
particularly in Louisville, who's been pioneering this for some years.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. Word's coming round the grapevine that you're very active as a conductor. Have you conducted this serenade?
Well, I'm active only as a composer, and I do everything else in my spare time, my teaching and conducting. You see, I'm often invited as composer in residence at various universities
Yes.
around the country, and I'm there for a few days, and they give programs of my music, and the occasion will arise that I'll conduct a symphony of mine. So, to answer your question, I do a lot of conducting,
Well,
but
have you conducted
parenthetically.
this serenade, for example?
Yes, I've done this many times around
Really?
the country.
With what sort of orchestras?
Well, the last performance was with the Hanover Symphony. This is Dartmouth College, their Hopkins Center festival in the summer.
Was this an orchestra made up of students?
Primarily students and residents and
Well, that's
some few
marvelous.
druggists from the
That's
town.
marvelous.
And they played it with
And
real spirit and
they
line.
they give you a performance that you
Yes.
take pride in. That's
Yes.
marvelous.
It was a lot of fun.
That's marvelous.
And I've had some performances around the country, and I delight in having some very bad performances because when a piece is established, this is, after all is recorded, I don't see why an orchestra that can't play very well or can't play in tune in some school shouldn't try to play a piece like this. Like the pianists play the Beethoven sonata sometimes,
must-
not so well.
They must wrestle with the new idiom, too.
Yes. However, I do enjoy very much the Philadelphia Orchestra performance.
Well,
Yes.
we're all looking forward
Yes.
to it, not only because the work itself is meritorious, but because you have been so close to our orchestra over the years. I'm trying to recollect, how many works of yours have been performed, let's say, the past 10 years?
Oh, I
Can you
would say
recollect?
about 6.
6.
About
I know
6.
there were 2 symphonies,
There was a 3rd, 4th, and 5th, as a matter of fact.
3 symphonies.
3
we did.
symphonies.
3
No,
symphonies.
the 3rd may have been done before 10 years, though, earlier than 10 years ago.
Well, then you are certainly one of the Not only are you one of Philadelphia's most prolific composers, but you are one who has been most frequently represented on our programs.
Well,
And
this
I want to
sounds
say
good.
personally that I'm delighted, Vincent, not only for what we've done in the past, but what
Yes.
you're doing for American music now and in the future.
Well, thank you.
And thank you very much, Vincent Persichetti, for being our guest on Sounding Board this week.